So, in keeping with the theme on GMAT and GRE problems, we're going to work a couple of problems here using a little bit of strategy and a little bit of math. The first problem is a percentage problem. We can skip to the end and figure out the question first, which is sometimes a good idea for math word problems. They're asking us the total value of something. Now, we go back to the beginning. When Leo imported a certain item, he paid a 7% import tax, 7% on the portion of the total value in excess of 1,000. If the amount of the import tax that Leo paid was $87.50, what was the total value of the item? Now you can set up some percentage equations to do this. I think the best way is to start with answer C, subtract $1,000 to get $1,250, and see what is 7% of that. 7% of 1250. Well, 10% is 125, and 1% is 12.5. So I can get 7% by either multiplying 12.5 by 7 or multiplying 12.5 by 3 and subtracting it from 125. I'm just going to multiply by 7. Oh, and I actually haven't worked this out, and the first answer is actually the correct answer. So C is the total cost of the item. Now, what we did there was, because the answers are numbers, we're just going to go through the answers and figure out which number in the answers matches up with the question. In this case, if the tax that I had figured out was too small, I could have moved downward in the answers. If the tax that I had computed was too large, I could have moved upward. That's the benefit of starting with answer choice C. And also, I'm just going to go over real quick this percentage trick. The idea is, let's just do another example. Let's do 2,400. So we're looking at 1,400 now. The idea is that starting with 1,400, to get 10%, we can just put the decimal right here. Okay, whatever. And that's really just 140. And then to get 1%, we move the decimal one more time to get 14. For example, we could get 5% by taking half of 10% to get 70. Now we could get 36% by adding 3 times 10% plus 5% plus 1%. In this case, it would be 3 times 140 plus 70 plus 14. 3 times 140 is 420. Plus 70 is 490, plus 14 is 504. I'm not saying this is easier than calculating percentages the regular way. Of course, I totally lost sight of the fact that the problem involves 7%. I just got sidetracked and calculated 36% of 1,400 for those of you that are asking, what on earth is he doing? Of course, we can also just take 1,400 and multiply by 0.07, which is kind of the way that you're taught in whatever grade you're taught to multiply and find percentages. It's $98. That would make the wrong answer. Okay, so enough about percentages. Now, what was the average weight in pounds of all the packages? Again, I skipped to the end of the problem to figure out what the question is. Now, the key with average problems is that, let's say I wanted to average, 1, 2, and 3. What do? I say 1 plus 2 plus 3 divided by 3 equals the average. Well, another way to think about this is 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals the average times 3. So I'm going to rewrite this equation as the sum equals the average times the number of numbers. So the way we're going to figure this one out is we're going to find the sum of the first 8 packages. We're going to find the sum of the next 4 packages. We're going to add those two, and then we're going to divide by 12. So 12 3/8 pounds is, let's see here, 12 times 8 is 96. So this is 99 over 8 pounds. So the sum of the 8 packages is going to be equal to the average, which is 99 over 8, times the number of packages, which is 8, so that's going to be 99. The second example, 15 1/4. 15 times 4 is 60, so that's 61 over 4. So in that case, the sum is going to be 61 over 4 times 4, and that's going to be equal to 61. So overall, we have 99 pounds mailed on Monday. We have 61 pounds mailed on Tuesday. 99 plus 61 is 160. 12 packages total, 4 packages and 8 packages. 8 packages. And so we got to do 12 into 160. That goes, what? One time. Pardon me while I divide for a second. So it's going to go 13 1/3 because we're going to have a remainder of 4. So 13 4/12, which is 13 1/3. The main lesson to take away from this is the equation, which allows you to solve average problems. The sum equals the average times the number of numbers. Hope you learned something.